here's Brody Brazil.
Well, by the time you're watching this video, we're likely less than 1 month away from the potential end of TikTok in the United States. Now, to be clear, I don't mean that the service is going to be unavailable or shut off. It's just that it would begin kind of dying a slow death here in the United States, but essentially it would be the end of TikTok, either temporarily or permanently. That remains to be seen, and there's a lot still going on behind the scenes, but I want to discuss what would be first here in our culture, our continent, the end of a social platform at the decision of government. This would go into effect January 19th, which is President Joe Biden's last day in office, and the timing of that obviously seems like this is political, and I'm not going to get too deep into the partisanship of this decision, but is that what this is all about? Is this a left thing or a right thing? Quite honestly, if there is a threat, if we're doing this law called the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, then you'd hope it would be a nonpartisan issue. You'd hope that this was in the best interest of left and right, people in the center. Who knows if this really comes down to just politics or a lot more. For the purpose of this video, though, I'm going to discuss some of the bigger picture issues and why it's a lot deeper than you actually think, why it's a lot more than politics here at hand. ByteDance owns TikTok. The U.S. government has informed ByteDance that they need to sell their platform to an American company. Otherwise, they'll face this ban. And selling the company, the valuation, how many people would even be able to purchase TikTok? I say people, how many corporations out there could invest in TikTok and be part of that purchase? It almost puts ByteDance in an impossible situation. Sell to somebody else by a certain timeline. Now, we've known this timeline has existed for a while. None of this is new, but we're now finally approaching this conclusion of January 19th. TikTok has obviously challenged the law. Again, it puts them in a difficult spot. They've asked the Supreme Court to expedite their work on this, to act by the 6th of January. And their spokesperson, Michael Hughes, said this about TikTok, quote, "Today, TikTok is asking the court to do what it has traditionally done in free speech cases, apply the most rigorous scrutiny to speech bans and conclude that it violates the First Amendment." So I'm going to do this slide here. I know a lot of you are saying, what is TikTok? Come on, Brazil. We all know what TikTok is. But no, in fairness, I'm not sure enough people 40 and older who might be watching this video, who might be part of the decision-making process. I think TikTok is understandable at a surface level, but I think TikTok has some things going on that are so much deeper that older people just do not realize. Yes, it launched in 2018, so it's not the oldest social platform by any means. 170 million active American users, 1 billion global monthly users. It's huge. It has dramatically blown up in the last handful of years. But there have been allegations of links between ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, and the Chinese state government. And by the way, like I said before, if this ban is enacted, it doesn't stop the app from working on January 20th, hypothetically. It only stops updates from happening, but essentially it will slowly kill the app over time so that you can't use it, you can't update it, you can't fix it. Eventually, TikTok goes away. And I also do realize there's a million ways around this. People will find their ways, but for the most part, for the general population, in a near-term time, it does go away. This is the part, though, that I'm not sure enough people understand. TikTok is so widely used by young people. Obviously, you know that already, but look at the metrics here. 18 to 24 and 25 to 34 are the main demographics. Look how it dips off after age 35. Now, I'm 43, and I've never really ventured deep into TikTok. I made an account. I looked at it for a while. I realized that maybe for what I was doing personally and professionally wasn't my thing, but I do realize how many young people get their news, get their information, form their opinions based on TikTok. This is worldwide TikTok users, by the way. This is not just here in the United States, and this is from July 2024. So a recent snapshot, so many young people on this platform. What you need to understand is that for people 40 and older, TikTok is kind of like the newspaper used to be, or watching the nightly news on television used to be. This is how young people are getting their information, not just their entertainment, but their information all at the same time. This is such a detailed topic here. I actually have 2 sets of takeaways. This is page 1. There's going to be a page 2. Algorithms are more powerful than influencers, right? So this is not about banning, necessarily banning TikTok because it might be spying on you, it might be listening to you, and it might be. I suspect some other apps might be using the microphone even when the app is not currently being utilized. More on that in just a second. But algorithms are more powerful than influencers, right? You can have all the people you want on a platform and all the influencers you want with the coolest, most sane, most crazy, most informed, most uninformed opinions. You can have all that, but the algorithm is what either makes them popular and keeps pushing that content to the masses, or it's what steers it away. So this is more about the ByteDance and TikTok algorithm and controlling the message and controlling the narrative and not knowing where it's coming from and not having any ability to steer it or have any influence on the algorithm. This is more about the algorithm than the influencers. And yes, TikTok, as I said before, this is a major news source for a lot of young people, similar to a major network or a publication or an outlet. Again, if you're in your 60s and you used to walk in the driveway and get your paper every morning and read the paper and read what people were saying and doing, this is the version of that in 2024. Don't be distracted because of all the dancing and cooking videos and all the other, entertainment things on TikTok. This is an important piece of culture for young people. So I'm not going to take the side of saying, well, take it away or have control over it. I'm just saying what you need to understand here is what is up for grabs here. What is being determined here is a major source of news and information for young people, in addition to the stuff they'll laugh at and share with their friends. The problem is, though, and a lot of social platforms have this problem. It's not unique to TikTok. I think Instagram is this way. Facebook is especially this way. X is definitely this way. They're not responsible like a major news network. They are a platform. They're here to show you all this information and let anybody post everything that they want. But then when it comes down to, well, were you disseminating information that is either wholly untrue or hateful or causing controversy or misleading? Everybody says, oh, well, we're just the messenger here. Don't get us involved. And so TikTok, like a lot of other platforms, they back away from the responsibility of being part of delivering the message, even though they have 1,000% control over the algorithm. So that's that. Another point here to make is that I realize this is upsetting for creators. I'm somebody here on YouTube who, this is where I put a lot of my primary focus and effort. And yeah, I would be disturbed if somebody said, hey, YouTube might be shutting down in less than a month. I mean, that would be concerning because of all the work and effort that I know a lot of people put into their TikTok. And they mean well. And so I understand from the creator side why this might be frustrating and why certain people have added investment in this decision. Okay, are the apps listening? Takeaways, page 2. Yeah, maybe. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe it literally is some espionage concerns going on here. I mean, we do put so much information and trust in our phones. Look, mine has been sitting here the entire time. Oh, just realized I missed some messages while I've been recording this video. But the point is, if I was having a private conversation or doing something that I thought nobody else knew about, but my phone is always with me, everything, not everything, most valuable things in my life can be accessed or looked at or figured out via the phone. There's so much trust and information in our phones. And so when you add an app like TikTok and maybe you don't fully know the background of what's going on, hard to entirely trust it. But I go back to, is this a U.S. politics issue or is this actual protection of citizens? I'd hate to think that this is a partisan thing. I'd rather have this be an overall nonpartisan good for the sake of the country. Like, I'm curious to see what happens January 20th and beyond. When there's a new White House and when we figure out what does this mean, I'm curious to know, does this look any different? Is this upheld? Can there be some changes made in the next month? There's a lot to sort out on that level. I'm also here to say that if you're using TikTok, it's not your only choice. It's not your only platform. And for the sake of free speech, yes, I mean, blocking the app and basically making it go away over time, it is taking away a platform, but it's not the only platform. So it's not like free speech isn't available somewhere else, right? If you want to make short videos, I can name you a bunch of different places. YouTube Shorts, for example. So I don't know that you can say, well, this is the only voice we had and now you're taking it away. For some people with a large account, yeah, you're kind of making that influence go away if you're taking away the total service, but it's not like there's not other options out there. And is this a disturbing precedent? Like if you're really into Facebook or X or YouTube, I mean, should you be worried that your platform might be next? Is this a good thing? Is this a last resort type situation, or is the United States government being maybe a little bit too proactive about this? Would this be a disturbing precedent if, in fact, TikTok gets shut down within the next month? So is this the end? I don't know. I still think a lot is going to happen within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Obviously, the holidays are going to take place, but a lot of this is going to ramp up, I think, in the very first few days of 2025, and you're going to hear a lot of back and forth. I'm making this video now, but I think you're going to hear a lot of voices and opinions and emotions and feelings about the potential end of TikTok and what would be one of the most, I guess, short-lived platforms of social media. Maybe saved for MySpace. They got in and out. I guess they still exist, but their popularity was started and ended only within a span of a couple years. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below. Really appreciate that. Helps me, this video, and this channel. Also, if you would, go down there and make sure that you're already subscribed to this channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.